Oh, thank you.
Hello, it's Jamie J. We're live here with Bottleneck, where we help stop the bottleneck in your business. And I'm super excited. We're talking with Angel Cellucci today. So stick around. In about 38 seconds, I'll make the introduction, and hope you're having a great day. So stay tuned. Join us in about 38 seconds. Well, hello there. It's Jamie J. I'm the CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance, where we help stop the bottleneck in your business. This is Live with Bottleneck, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're not here to talk about me. I'm here to learn more about Angel Cellucci. And one of the cooler things that I really like about this conversation is a little bit different than what we normally talk about. And I think that's interesting. So Angel Cellucci is the CEO and founder of Overbrook Consultants. We're going to talk about how to protect yourself from medical fraud. And I thought this was pretty interesting because I think this just happened to my wife, Sarah, and it couldn't be better timing. So how can Angel help stop the bottleneck in your business, in your life? Well, let me share that with you. She likes to refer to herself as a speaker, teacher, guide, and friend. And she has worked in the healthcare system her entire life, having started out as a candy striper at the age of 13 and working her way up to become a registered nurse and ultimately a family nurse practitioner. In 2014, she began her nurse-preneurial journey and founded the medical fraud investigation company Overbrook Consultants. Her goal is to leverage her nursing and medical experience along with her fraud investigation skills to inspire and empower everyone to become better consumers of healthcare so they can keep their hard-earned money where it belongs, in their pocket. In your pocket. So without any further ado, please allow me to introduce you to Miss Angel Cellucci. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Well, this is
I'm great.
fantastic. I'm so excited.
Thank you. So am I. Thanks for having me on here. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
this is awesome. And usually we're in here talking about business and this and that and what's going on. And Sarah, my wife, jumps in and we talk about what happened to us and all this crazy stuff. And one of the strange things that happened to her was I think we had somebody trying to get her information or something. It was so crazy. But before we go into that story, I'm hoping that maybe you can introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background, and we'll jump into this and have a fun conversation.
Okay. Well, thank you for the introduction that you gave. That was great. But
Almost definitely.
I think what I want people to know is why I do what I do. And a lot of it comes from this is a funny little side story. So I was raised, and this is going to date some people, but I am from West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground, is where I spent most of my days.
Oh yeah.
And that was a little town, a neighborhood in Philadelphia called Overbrook. That's why I named my company Overbrook, to pay tribute to the people who taught me the importance of sharing our resources with each other, having each other's backs, protecting one another. And that is why, well, I think that's what always drew me to nursing. I don't remember ever wanting to be anything other than a nurse. And then about 5, 6 years ago, I decided to use my nursing knowledge and skills to help insurance carriers investigate for medical billing fraud. So that's kind of how I got started into that. But then I was looking back at our numbers and I realized, now if they're coming to us with these records, they already think there's an issue. We saved our clients over $30 million over the years. And our data showed us that 9 out of 10 of the medical bills that we reviewed contained errors. So the Philly in me, I was like, wait a minute. We're saving them money. Our premiums are still going up. We're still paying a lot of out of pocket. We're still paying a lot for pharmaceuticals. we're spending all that. There's a lot of people making money off of the backs of the people that the system was designed to serve. So that was when the Philly in me came out, and I was like, oh, hell no. No more. People need to know about this. So it was actually
Yeah.
during COVID that I made this pivot, and we now just focus on the consumers of healthcare because we're the ones that are footing the bill for everything. And why I wanted to speak to your audience, because as virtual digital assistants, a lot of them are probably either uninsured or self-insured. So, whether you're paying for your medical bills or somebody else is paying for them, number one, they're still so much higher than they need to be. Hospitals are notorious for raising their prices by 400 to 500%. Healthcare fraud can be committed anywhere along the line, from ambulance companies, home health services, hospitals, providers. We even have, Jamie, we have organized crime rings, which that's what your wife probably encountered. We have organized crime rings who are trying to get our identity and our money and our medical information through schmishing and phishing, PHISH, and that's text scams, it's phone scams, it's email scams, it's, fake freebies, I call them. There's
Yeah.
people trying to take advantage of us every step of the way. And that's why I want people to be better consumers of healthcare, more educated, equipped, and empowered. So now that's my message in a nutshell for what I do and why I want to do it. And I just think it's really important that we all step up to the plate and claim our power.
Yeah.
So,
And thank you so much, because I mean, there's so many areas that people have to worry about in life. It's hard to be an expert in everything and know exactly what's going on. So so to go back to that, what happened was my wife received a phone call, and it was the strangest thing, because the gentleman that was on the phone said, yes, your results came back, you were negative, but I need to get some extra things from you. And this is Dr. Miller, or whatever the doctor's name was, right? We'll use Dr. Miller.
which was legitimately her doctor's name too, right?
Yeah.
Did you say?
Like, how did they? And when she goes, aren't you retired? And the guy hung up.
Yeah.
We're like, what just happened? How did he get that information? First of all, like,
Yeah.
that's
Because
crazy.
our data could be leaked anywhere along the line, which is why I want people to start taking care of their own data. Very simple system I can teach them how to set up. But yeah, it's up to us to protect it. Nobody has our backs as more as we do. Nobody has more to gain or more to lose besides us. And that is definitely one of the phone scams that are going around. They reached out. There was it was called Operation Brace Yourself, where they were making phone calls to random people over the age of 65 and asking them, do you have pain? Do you have back pain, shoulder pain, wrist pain? And of course, if you're over 65, I mean, if pain is your only issue, it's a good bet. So if they said yes, then they would say, well, your doctor, they didn't give a name, your doctor approved for you to have this free back brace or knee brace or whatever. And all you have to do is give us your insurance information and we'll get it right out to you. So they would send them a brace that was worth maybe $10 at like Walmart or Target, but they billed the Medicare system, which we are the Medicare system, the taxpayers, $997, because $1,000 is the red flag. Billions of dollars were stolen out of our Medicare system, and that was called Operation Brace Yourself. So one of the things I teach people, which they ended up doing it to Sarah, they hung up on her, but if you get a phone call from anybody and you don't know, and they're trying to sell you something and they ask for information unsolicited, you didn't call them, I know this doesn't sound nice, but hang up on them, because they're only after your money. They're only after your ID or your money. So if you didn't solicit the call, your insurance carrier is never going to call you and say, let us know what your insurance number is. They're never going to ask you that information because they know it. But if somebody asks you for that, you just hang up immediately. And we're getting lots of those on Facebook also. I don't know if you've seen those. Like, I get them all the time, where people are messaging me saying, hi, Angel, it's been so long. How are you? And initially I was engaging. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to hear from you, blah, blah, blah. And then they would start with a scam. Hey, I don't know if you heard, but there's this new program and it's free for people our ages. Well, once I caught on, forgive me, anybody who got the message from me, but usually I flip them off with some not very friendly word. And I'll say something like, there's a special place in hell for people like you, just so you know. And then, but I let them know that you're fraudsters, we're on to you. Now, can I also say, this is very important. Fraud can happen anywhere along the line. I don't want people to doubt their medical providers. Same way we have good and bad police, we have good and bad teachers, we have good and bad providers, we have good and bad ambulance services, hospitals, all of that. True power comes when we are more cognizant, when we know the questions to ask, when we are reading our medical bills, when we are saying this is, and that's why I say consumers of healthcare, it's a financial transaction. You know, they're not treating you out of the kindness of their heart. They're going to send you a bill or they're going to send your insurance carrier a bill. And it's only by us stepping into that power and having like collaborative relationships with our providers. It's kind of like we teach kids stranger dangers. That's what I want to teach people. Like, I don't want you to be fearful of the hospital system or your providers. I want you to walk in all confident, like,
be knowledgeable. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There is a big difference. And you don't want to go through life living in fear anyways. But something like this can really take away a lot of your time and energy that's unnecessary. So who is this helping? Like who can you help? Like if there's a person, like we have a business audience. So in that audience, who can you be helping?
So overall, anybody who utilizes the healthcare system. Because if you don't have medical bills, chances are this isn't going to pertain to you just yet. But because you have a human body, eventually it will. You will need medical services. Then if we hone in a little further, it would be people who these are my main target people, are the uninsured. We have over 31 million people in our country that don't have health insurance right now. And that number is only going up because of COVID. So those people are the ones who are paying the most out-of-pocket expenses. And they have financially the most to lose.
Yeah.
So those are really, and I feel that entrepreneurs, myself included, entrepreneurs, 1099 contractors, those are the people who are typically uninsured and or self-insured, paying for themselves. So that's why I thought this would be a really good audience, because I'm sure a lot of your audience are self-insured or employees, and that's the other thing. Even as an employee, your employers, more and more, the employee's paying more than the employer as time goes on. So it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum. If you utilize the healthcare system, and if you have medical bills, and more so if you are paying out of pocket, those are all the people I want to help and serve.
So how can you help? Like, what are some of the things that you can do? I mean, besides us understanding, hey, we have to be aware of this kind of thing, but do you help people, like, put them in a good direction to find insurance? Like, what is it that you can help kind of people overcome so they don't have to worry about this and get it behind them?
So first of all, insurance is not my jam at all. I don't work in that area. I have great resources for that, though. Actually, I have a friend of mine, Lynn, and she's brilliant when it comes to helping people figure out what would be a good health insurance for them. What I want to do, it's kind of like the old parable of teach a man to fish or give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Can we do it for you? Sure. Can we review your medical bills for you? Sure. But I would much rather teach you how to do it so that you're the one empowered in the doctor's office. You know the kind of questions to be asking. You know how to read your medical bills. You don't need a secret decoder ring. You don't need a medical degree to do it. I have created a proprietary process that people could start implementing today, right now. Excuse me. It's called the DOVE system, and it stands for document, organize, verify, and engage. We have to begin documenting everything from the minute we make the appointment all the way through until that bill is paid in full. Why? Because if you see a doctor in January and the bills don't start coming in for 3 to 4 months later, are you really going to remember what transpired at the office 3 months earlier? I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, let alone 3 months ago. So then when the bill comes in, I won't jump to the V yet, but the O is organized. We have to have all of our medical information in one place so that we're not overwhelmed. By having structure and order, it removes the overwhelm, the anxiety, the stress that people probably feel when they see a medical bill. I just want to teach them it's okay. It's okay. We've got this. We can handle this. Utilizing the Dove system is going to give you financial peace of mind and mental peace of mind. So you've documented everything. It's in an organized place. V stands for verify. When your bills come in, I know our justice system is we are innocent until proven guilty. Not with me, not with medical bills. That sucker is guilty until I prove it is innocent. By verifying to make sure, all right, this is what they're telling me I had. Is that indeed what I had? Because there's like 4 major types of billing errors and or fraud. And one of them is you could be billed for services that you never even received. There was a physician once who was he was based here in Tennessee. He was found guilty of writing for Medicare supplies for patients of his who had already died. Yeah.
Oh,
Talk about billing for
wow.
services not delivered. And then engage, E is for engage, D-O-V-E, E is for engage. And what I teach people to do is how to engage with whoever you receive the bill from. So if you receive a bill, you've verified it, it's all legit, prices seem fair, then you pay the bill. It's your responsibility. If you find an error, I teach people, okay, this is where you want to go. I give them templates. Here's the letter. That's the other thing. Don't make a phone call. Your time is so valuable, just as valuable as theirs. Write it and send it in a certified return receipt letter because by law, they have to answer you within 30 days.
Wow.
So, and then the other thing is if you can't afford it, in fact, a friend of mine, her husband had a traumatic brain injury, spent 7 days in the ICU. Average stay in the ICU is $10,000 a day. Her medical bills, his medical bills were $3 million. We have
Oh
people
my
who,
gosh.
oh yeah, we have people who are in the hospital for COVID for a month. They're getting medical bills over $1 million. Yeah. So I teach people, okay, write a letter of financial hardship. And I teach them what to let their provider know. Like you have to be honest. I mean, who has $1 million to pay a medical bill? So you want to say, look, these are what my expenses are. This is what's in my checking account. This is what's in my savings account. This is how much my mortgage is. I have a family of 5. This is our food bill. Lay everything out and say, I can't afford this, but I can afford this. And don't ever put it on a credit card. Ever, 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 never put it on a credit card. Because why should you incur interest? Which you will. You make a payment plan with them. I was in the ER recently, probably about a month ago, and one of the first things, it's all tech now. They were texting me to do registration over the phone, and then they said, please enter your credit card number. So I just wrote back, I don't use credit cards. Tiny white lie, but I'm not giving you my credit card number.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are all little things that people don't realize. And I think we enter into the healthcare system thinking that we don't have a right to question. We don't have a right to ask. We just kind of have to follow along like, I don't want to use, well, I guess I am going to say the word sheep. Like we have to do whatever they say and whatever they do. Oh no. I teach people you don't have to do or pay for anything until you understand everything. So that's the other thing I teach people is just ask lots of questions. And there's a difference between asking a question and questioning somebody. So you never want to be in a doctor's office or a provider's office and question them. You want to ask questions. It's the difference between me asking you a question or a police officer saying, do you know how fast you were going? There's that relationship that I'm saying that people that providers want to have with you. They want an educated, empowered patient.
Yep.
On average, providers only get 8 minutes with a patient. Do you think they know you well enough? No, they don't. But if we come and we say, these are my issues, very succinct, very professional, blah, 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 the conversation, and that's what I want to teach people how to do. Have a collaborative relationship with their providers, because our providers are overworked, overstressed, underpaid, have little time with their patients. So as a provider, that's kind of what I want to bring to the table.
Well, that's fantastic because you know what? Nothing else but pain they're in, all of this stuff. The stress that this brings on could just be immense for someone to have to go through.
Right.
And it's unneeded negative energy that you have to expend, right?
Right. You've got to get busy healing or doing, and that's the thing. When you have a medical bill, man, you're already dealing with whatever it was that caused that medical bill physically. Now let's add the emotional stress, the mental stress, the financial stress.
How am I going to pay for
Jamie,
this?
right. And that has an impact on your physical because stress releases cortisol, our stress hormones, which leads to belly fat. But it also affects our sleep. We're not able to sleep. That affects every other area. That affects our healing. It affects our relationships. Just that overwhelming burden, stress, all that kind of stuff, that's not fair. We shouldn't have to deal with that. Not when I see how much money and the lifestyles that some of these hospital CEOs make and pharmaceutical company CEOs make. We're talking like almost $30 million a year. Some of them make in one day what a nurse practitioner, and a medical doctor make in 1 year. And then I had patients who couldn't even afford their insulin. Are you kidding me? See,
Yeah.
that's when the Philly in me comes out. That's why we're called Overbrook, because I feel I have an ethical responsibility as a nurse, but I think we all have a responsibility to share this information, to help each other. Don't ever go, if you're admitted in the hospital, I tell people bring somebody with you. I know right now COVID makes it hard, so keep track on your notes. You just always want to have somebody keeping record for you, keeping track for you, also witnessing what you're going through, bearing witness, not witness as in a case, but we just need to be there for each other and to share our information with each other. So that's what I want
Sage
people
advice.
to know.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, you have a couple things coming up. I wonder if you could share so maybe people can learn more.
Oh, I'd love that. So very spur of the moment. I'm trying. Well, first of all, this whole thing has been a rebranding that we started March 1st because we were corporate facing, but now we are. They usually say it's either B2B, business to business, or B2C, business to consumer. I say H to H. I'm human to human. Yes. So my calendar's on the wall, so that's what I'm looking at. But I'm going to start doing some free webinars where I can teach people how to do this. And the name of this one, I have a saucy side, I guess, because I named it PAD, an acronym PAD, which I know you love acronyms, but Pad Your Assets. And what PAD stands for is I want to teach people how to protect, advocate for, and defend their wellness journey. And that's what I want to teach them, because we need to become the guardians of our wellness journey from birth to cradle, or cradle to death, or cradle to grave, however they say that, but along our whole thing. So that's what the webinar is going to be about. I'm going to do them live because I love the interaction and I want to answer as many questions as I can. The first one will be next Tuesday, the 16th. I have one on Thursday, the 18th. They're going to be roughly 45 minutes long, and I'll stay and answer questions for about 10-15 minutes. So yes, I can drop a link to that.
At what time on Tuesday?
Tuesday, it's at 1 o'clock Central. The
And
16th.
what does the A stand for again?
Advocate for.
Advocate.
You are your best advocate. The same way you would advocate for your 2-year-old at a doctor's appointment, you need to do that for yourself.
There, I am going to post this up there so that people can see it.
Oh, thanks.
So, Pad Your Assets webinar to protect, advocate, and defend, Tuesday, March 16th at 1 p.m. Central.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And how else can people learn more about you?
Well, like I said, my goal is to educate, equip. So the webinar is the educate part. Equip, I've created tools for you guys, and that I'll be talking about in the webinar. But in the meantime, I'm also launching a monthly newsletter. First one should be coming out the first week in April.
Oh, wow.
And I just want to, because boy, I just have a lot to say. And I don't think people want to hear my voice all the time. So I thought I'm going to put it together in a newsletter. So I would appreciate it if people would just go and I don't like weekly newsletters, or I'm not going to inundate your mailbox with that. It's just once a month. So I think that would be the best way, because then you can glean that. And I'm also on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, anything like that. But I am always available if anybody ever has any questions. And I just want you to know you can do it. You have the most to lose and the most to gain. So anything that I can do to support you along the way.
That's amazing. Yeah, and again, thank you for sharing that, because this is a unique perspective, and ultimately it can affect somebody more than just financially. The stress is there. So as you said, a lot of us are, the employers that don't have insurance, the entrepreneurs that don't have insurance, or for those of us that are so busy we don't even realize that there's something fishy going on. It's nice to kind of put this back into the top of mind a little bit and help people kind of understand, because we're working so hard. We don't need all this extra stuff.
No, exactly. And, I think you had said it on the weekly review last week that I want people to be proactive with their health and wellness needs versus reactive. Like something happened and, oh my gosh, I have a bill, and now reacting to that. Ideally, Jamie, I want to take it all the way back to let's be proactive with our health and wellness so you don't even need cholesterol medication, diabetes medications, all those kinds of things. Let's focus on our lifestyle. So that also applies to employers, employees. It applies to everybody. It's such a large umbrella, and I know we're supposed to niche down, but it's hard when I deal with the human body because we all have a body. But preventative services, I want people to be proactive, not reactive. But when you need to be reactive with a bill, well, this is the knowledge you need. Let me help you.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap?
No, except I appreciate you so much. Thank you for letting me share this. And I guess my one quote that I say all the time, you don't have to do or pay for anything until you understand and agree with everything. You have more power than you realize.
The dove.
The dove. Document, organize, verify, engage. Yes.
I love it. Oh, I love it. Well, can you hold on a quick moment and I'll go ahead and wrap up?
Thank you so much. I will. I'll definitely stay. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you so much. All right. That was a great conversation. I think top of mind, you need to kind of get that back in your head there and start being proactive. As Angel said, she's just fantastic. So I've been talking with Angel Cellucci, in Tennessee now, but originally from Philly. I love the little rap in the beginning. So if you missed that, go back and check that out. She is the CEO and founder of Overbrook Consultants, how to protect yourself from medical fraud. I really think take a moment, kind of take stock of what it is that you have going on right now. There's a lot of fraud going on out there. Just protect yourself. When you get that medical bill, the dental bill, whatever it is, just actually look at it and make sure it's all right. If you question something, good. Question it, right? So definitely go to overbrook.com. Let me pop this up there so I make sure I get everything correct. Let me see. There we go. Overbrookconsultants.com is the web address. You can email Angel at overbrooksconsultants.com. She's on LinkedIn. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. And also, she has an upcoming webinar. It's called Pad Your Assets. And it's a webinar to protect, advocate, and defend. That's the acronym for PAD on Tuesday, March 16th. At 1 p.m. Central. You can go check that out. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. We do have coming up pretty soon, I think, who's our next guest on here? Our next guest, the one and only Dave Sanderson. We're going to be talking about turning turmoil into triumph. That's going to be next Tuesday, March 16th. At 2 p.m. Central. If you don't know Dave, Dave is a friend of mine. I absolutely love Dave. He's amazing. Do you remember the Miracle on the Hudson where Captain Sully landed the plane right in the Hudson River? And they made it into a movie with Tom Hanks. Well, Dave Sanderson, former head of security for Tony Robinson, who will be joining me next week, was the last person off the plane. He made sure that everybody else got off. He's an amazing person, and I can't wait to share his story with you and give you an update as far as what he's doing. And then the last thing is I want to invite you to check this out. You can listen to this and watch Angel and I have our conversation at Bottleneck TV. You can also see hundreds of videos that we've done over the past couple of years. We're getting ready to launch that, so you can find that. Learn how you can break through the bottleneck in your business today by subscribing live with Bottleneck at bottleneck.online/TV. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and wrap for today. Thank you so much for helping both Angel and I help you stop the bottleneck in your business and in your life. So remember, I love saying this, create your own ripple. We'll talk to you soon.